Hey there, everyone. Gen X Man back with another video on a Tabletop Tuesday. Roll for initiative. Let's get out there and roll some dice today. It's beautiful out, although it is windy as all get out. This video is actually by request. A coworker of the old lady had mentioned to her at some point that he wanted to get involved in playing TTRPGs and D&D in particular. And the old lady suggested to me, said, "Hey, that'd make a great video, just explaining how somebody starts from absolutely nothing to get to diving into the pool of D&D." And I said, "That's a great idea. I'm going to run with that." So without further ado, here are my abridged, very quick, hopefully, notes on how to get started. Now, getting started in D&D and any other TTRPG, where do you start? Speaking strictly of D&D, I would recommend people starting with the absolute easiest, simplified, streamlined version of the game that gets somebody from having absolutely no skill at TTRPG at all to being familiar. And to that end, I recommend the fifth edition. I found fifth edition to be, as I said, very easy, very streamlined. It clicks along. It does not bog down on rules, although some of us like the rules, but this video is for people just starting out. And that is going to be the one we're going to be looking at for this video in particular. And to sit down and actually start playing, you're going to have to decide one person is going to have to run the game. And that person will likely be the one to buy the lion's share of the books. So just bear that in mind. So you're asking, okay, I've decided I'm going to run the game. What books do I need to buy? Well, speaking strictly, absolutely essential, you have to have the player's handbook, this book right here. I cannot, in good conscience, recommend the D&D 2024 book, as it has its own set of problems and I am not familiar with it, so I won't be recommending it for the purposes of this video. That may change in the future. But the 5e Player's Handbook has an MSRP about 50 bucks, but you can get it online for 30 or 40. Secondly, you absolutely must have at least one set of dice, and this is going to be a 4-sided, a 6-sided, an 8-sided, two 10-sideds, 12-sided, and a 20-sided. And you say, why do I need two 10s? It's like, well, sometimes you're going to have to roll percentage, and you're going to have to roll two to the 10s, and you're going to have to designate one of those 10s as being, the 10 spot. So you're going to have, you know, you can also buy other books, however, it is not absolutely necessary to start play. The next one I would recommend is the Monster Manual, as it is going to expand the list of monsters you're able to use in crafting your own adventures. And after that, probably the Dungeon Master's Guide, and then whatever gems pique your fancy. I love Tasha's Cauldron to Everything, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, the Ravenloft core book, tons of third-party books like Vault of Spira's Secrets, Humblewood. There is a core rulebook gift set that retails for just about over 100 bucks, about 115. That is a good bargain, as each book is usually around 50 bucks a piece. Now, next thing is, if you're not going to homebrew, that is, you're not going to create your first adventure entirely by yourself, then I recommend looking up a pre-made scenario online if you want to go the cheap route, and if you have some good idea what you're doing, or even buying one. If you decide to buy one, there are a couple options out there that look, I don't personally own these, but they look very enticing. There's a 2022 starter set, so it says on the box, and there's a 2019 essentials kit, which it also says essentials on the box, so you know what you get. Both go for under 20 bucks on Amazon when I just did a quick look. The starter set has a short intro adventure, has a rule book, pre-made characters, and 6 dice, the dice I just mentioned. The Essentials is a more robust option, costs about 2 bucks more, give or take, with a longer adventure, a bigger rule book, DM screen, 6 pre-made characters, 11 dice, poster map, cards for magic items, so on and so forth. So that's probably the one you're going to buy if you wanted to buy, a starter set to help you get started. And in buying these starter sets, it's my understanding you don't have to have the player's handbook just yet. So you can hold off on that for a little while. You're going to want to buy that though. As soon as you get familiar with what you're doing, your players are going to want to make their own characters. And especially if you're starting out making your own characters, you will absolutely have to have the player's handbook. So your next step is, okay, I bought the player's handbook, I bought the dice, I got into starter kit or whatever, or I looked something up. What do I do now? Well, you got to get your group together. The biggest challenge of most gaming groups is finding a time set aside for everyone to be there. And you're going to want your first session and probably subsequent sessions to be at least 2 to 3 hours. They can run longer depending on if everybody's having fun, they want to keep going. So just bear that in mind. Your first get together, if you're making characters, your first to get together is just going to be making characters. So be prepared for that. It's going to be 2 or 3 hours of helping people roll stats and figure out, where do I find this spell? Where do I find that talent, et cetera, et cetera. So bear that in mind. Again, one person will be the DM. That's likely you. You're gathering everybody and buying everything. Everyone else is called a player character, a PC. PCs roll up the characters using the dice you bought if you're making your own characters. And I recommend everyone having their own set of dice, but it is not absolutely necessary. And in fact, it can be kind of fun passing around a set of dice, but that's up to each individual group to make their decisions. The rules presented in either the player's handbook or the starter set, adventure set, essential set, etc., will explain how to play. But just remember, nearly everything that you're doing in 5e is a target number set by you, the DM. Players are trying to roll at or above that number, typically with that big D20. Natural 20s are awesome. Natural ones are hilarious, possibly deadly. Remember, never say no. Instead, set a target number. The target number can be ridiculous if it is a ridiculous action. Saying, I want to leap from the Earth to the moon. Okay, your target number is 500. Who knows? Maybe they were all natural 20 and you're like, somehow it happened. But anyway, but also remember at all times that you, the DM, have the right to simply say no. I simply avoid it because more often than not, it devolves into arguments and such. And if this is your first time get together, you don't want to be trying to rules lawyer or adjudicate disputes or anything. You want everybody to be having fun, having a good time, so they come back for the next time. Also, advanced DM tip. You're going to get overwhelmed. Don't panic. It's okay to wing it. If everyone's smiling, laughing, having fun, you've succeeded. Good job. As George Carlin said, don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things. But that's essentially all you need to get started playing 5th edition D&D. The edition that I would recommend just diving into the pool. And again, this video is made as if I'm talking to my old lady's coworker, and he's just like, I just want to sit down and watch a video and kind of get an idea of what I'm diving into. Again, you're going to be reading through rules, you're going to be doing all the prep work, but it is so fun when everybody sits down and everybody's smiling and they're talking and everything's getting loud and crazy and everybody's having a fun time, and that that is the reason to do it, to DM right there. And you will discover that on your own. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was informative. Hope it was entertaining. If it was, please give me a smash on the like button. I appreciate it forever. It is so fun to watch, the views keep clicking up as the week goes on. That's just so much fun. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe. I have videos about gaming, comic books, movies, music, everything under the sun every week, multiple times a week. And I aim to entertain, as I say. And also, I haven't experimented with this, but you can click the notification little bell button to get notified every time I post a new video if you're just dying to see my next one come out. But anyway, I hope I entertained you all today. It is a beautiful day. If you can get out and avoid being blown away, go get some vitamin D. And otherwise, have a good one.